On this episode of Building the Business, I'm going to answer one of my most commonly asked questions while I'm out and about performing. And also, I'm going to teach you one of my most popular twisted sculptures. If you have any questions or comments, or you're interested to see exactly how I do that, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned on this episode of I get asked is, what got you started in the entertainment business? How did you learn this stuff? Well, for me, it's kind of a funny story. When I was in high school, I was not this charming, charismatic individual that you see before you today. I was actually quite the opposite. I was very shy and introverted. I didn't talk to anyone or do anything. Until one day, in a neighborhood in town, or kind of a shoppy area, I saw a magic shop, and I went in for the first time, and I picked up a magic trick, and it was a Svengali deck. It's a very, very common, one of the first tricks any magician learns and gets themselves, and I learned it. I got pretty good at it, and so what I did is to practice is I started showing just close friends, a couple of people here and there at school, maybe at a party or two myself, just for me to help try to make friends and kind of break out of my shell. And I caught the bug. I got good at it. I showed everyone that trick, and eventually I wanted more, so I went back to that shop and got another one. And I learned that one and got it perfect, and I showed everyone I knew. And I kept doing that until one day I got lucky enough here. I was about 15, 16 years old. I got lucky enough to get a job at that magic shop being a demonstration magician. So it was my job to, perform the trick and say, hey, this is really cool. You should buy it. If you want to learn how to do it, I'll teach you, that kind of thing. So not only did I learn the magic tricks myself and have access to infinite magic, limitless. If it was in the store, I had to know how to do it. So naturally, I devoured all of that. I learned as much as I could then. But also, I had to be able to know it well enough to teach someone who purchased it for themselves if they needed help with it, if it didn't come with a DVD or instructions of some sort. So I got to do that. While working at this shop here, I actually was kind of recruited onto their entertainment team, and they had about 4 or 5 guys and girls, actually, that would go out and they would perform at the birthday parties and stuff that would get booked just from people coming into the shop. And they would say, oh, okay, you're a magician in a magic shop. Do you do parties? And of course, naturally, we did, because that's how we make our money. But, so I started doing magic shows. I put together a good 45-minute kids magic show, and I only did the gigs that they needed me to do. I didn't perform regularly because I was still kind of introverted and shy unless I was performing, unless I knew the trick perfectly. So, that's super cool. But eventually, I started to like it, and I wanted, people started to request me specifically, instead of, I want to book your company, but I would rather have Magic Mark come to the show and not, somebody of my other teammates at the time. And while I was at these events, they would ask, do you do anything else? And that's actually when I started to think about it for the first time, twisting balloon art. And so, luckily someone on the team also twisted balloons and was able to teach me how. I was a little bit better at magic than he was. He was a little bit better at balloons than I was, and we kind of traded lessons. He taught me a few shapes, and I taught him a couple of tricks that were really popular and really easy to do, and we both kind of ran with it. I started learning on my own. He started learning on his own. And the funny thing is now, is he's a lot better at magic now than I am, and I am a lot better at balloons twisting than he is. So I guess it was kind of fate that we decided to trade like that. So I learned balloon art, got pretty good at that. Learned a few basic shapes at first, and I started incorporating that into my parties. I'd book the show, I'd perform the magic show, and immediately following, I'd make a balloon creation for each of the children that were there, even the adults if they wanted, whoever was at the party. And like I said, and as I was doing that, I got better and better at the balloons. I actually was lucky enough to book a couple of birthday parties for restaurant owners' children, and they almost immediately on the spot hired me into their restaurant. So without knowing, I was already twisting in restaurants. I kind of got it by accident at first. And I get better at creations. Every day we would get the regulars that would come in to see me, and they'd have a new challenge for me, a new crazy sculpture idea that they wanted me to make. And I would try to make it. Sometimes I would succeed. Most of the time I would succeed. But sometimes I would fail, and that's part of the business. But eventually it got to a point now where I don't question. If they say they want something, I know how to make it. I can handle it. It's not a big deal. I've been doing it for close to 10 years now, believe it or not. And that's plenty of time, plenty of experience for any job. All right, so I am ready to show you the greatest sculpture that I do. One of the most popular ones here. It's going to be a 2-balloon flower. That's going to be for the girls. Super easy to do. Knocks it out in a few seconds here, and it's awesome. That's awesome. So the first thing that you're going to need is going to be a lime green 260, and also what we're going to need is a geoblossom balloon. It's a special balloon you can get from Qualitex. It's got a hole in the middle here, and that's it. That's what you need to do the sculpture. So the first thing you're going to do actually is inflate your 260 to about 4 fingers, just like so, maybe a little less, a little more. Honestly, you don't need a whole lot of balloon inflated if you don't want. It's a sizing preference thing. So the next thing you're going to do is take your marker or your finger. What I do is I lick it. You don't have to for sanitary reasons if you don't want. But what you're going to do is take this nozzle, push it inside the balloon, and reach through on the outside and actually pinch the knot. Pull your finger out, but hold the knot inside so you have kind of this little nipple on the end. What you're then going to do is twist that knot on the inside so it makes something called a tulip twist, just like so, on the balloon. Once you have that, you're most of the way done. What you're then going to do is take your geoblossom here, and if you can, stretch the center hole over the outside of said balloon, just like so. Once you get to that point here, you're actually going to stretch it, straighten it out so it's not twisted or otherwise binded in any way. And then, once you get it all straightened out the way that you're supposed to, you're going to inflate the geoblossom pretty much all the way. So, just like so. Just like that. Burp it just a little bit and tie it off. Just like so. Now, take that knot, you're going to take the green part and twist it down so that the flower is nice and even. Then, you're going to take the knot, tuck it through, kind of like a lock twist, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. So, you have your center tulip, your geoblossom on the outside, and then the bubble that goes down and the knot twisted into the side. The next thing you're going to do is 2 petal twists. You can do them however you like. I usually like to do them about, I'd say maybe a fat 4 fingers. Make sure that they're both roughly the same size as well. Once you do that, you can leave it just like this, and that is a perfectly good balloon flower. What I like to do, just a finishing touch and to add a little bit of stability, is I'll put 1 ear twist right here after the petal twists. Just like so. And, oh, came untwisted. Hold on 1 second. Like I said, I'll put that 1 ear twist, just like so. Maybe I'll organize the petals a little bit, and you have a 2-balloon flower. One of the cool things about this design is it's very tough, so the younger kids, they can get this balloon. You don't really got to worry too much about it popping on them or doing anything crazy like that, and it's super fast and easy to make and not your typical balloon flower. So I hope you enjoy this video and this segment of Building the Business with Magic Mark. And make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more episodes. Also, if you have any requests for balloons and tutorials and stuff like that, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to do that for you.